I didn't know you were bringing pie, Janice.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me a screener for PROTANOPIA, and this 2024 film was directed by Matthew Mahler and stars Timothy Cox, Anthony Carey, and Paula Mahler, among others, of course. So what is the story of this film? Well, it actually has kind of two stories. One is this guy's father dies, so he kind of takes over his house, but then also is part of like the neighborhood watch that the father was the president of. So he's looking to be president as well. And it turns out that he has like a spirit living in his basement that he has to do things to. And with his story, what happens? Oh, he wants to be president of the neighborhood watch, like I said, but so does Janice, and Janice and him are not getting along at all. And then the other story is about this guy, and he has a half sister who goes missing after their father dies. And so he kind of, I don't know, has a hallucination about going to the basement of the other guy's house and stuff like that. It's not really kind of well explained what's actually going on. It's all just kind of very trippy stuff, and we'll certainly have to discuss that as well. So what will happen though? Well, for that you gotta watch the movie and find out. All right, so let's discuss this movie. Well, what works with it? Well, I gotta say it's very stylistic, and I think there is kind of an audience for this style. It's very Lynchian, if you know David Lynch's work and kind of how that all kind of comes across. With this one, it is kind of more on the heavy side of that style. After all, it's only an hour and 15 minutes, so they put as much, David Lynchian stuff in there to kind of make it go through. And it is very much that. They have lots of segments that kind of are trippy visuals and other things like that. And just like a David Lynch film, I get the point. I just don't understand it. That's kind of how it all goes together with this type of stuff. So it is something that I, enjoyed because I like David Lynch and kind of that, mystery and the galactic mystery and cosmic mystery that it's trying to kind of portray throughout the film. I gotta say, I did get into it, but again, I like all this weird stuff. So that was a positive. And I think if you are a fan of David Lynch, this might be one to consider. In addition, I really like the character of Janice. Janice is this person in the neighborhood watch who is against kind of our main guy. And she is just so funny to me. First of all, Janice is a great name for a villain. It's just, I don't know, funny to me. But then her whole storyline is that she brings pie, but the other guy wants to bring pie. And so, of course, they're fighting over who gets to bring pie. And then she leaves her pie plate there. And he's like, I'm just going to destroy this pie plate. And then, it just spirals out of control from there. So it is kind of a funny element to it that I certainly did enjoy. And I think that brings me to what doesn't work. Well, I know I enjoyed the David Lynch style, but to tell you the truth, I think the guy took it to the extreme. He takes this style way too far. He has different kind of methods of doing it. Some of them are just flashing images, and it's just so intense sometimes. It has a flashing images warning at the beginning, but I didn't realize how intense it would be. I certainly had to close my eyes. I'm not doing this in the darkest room, so it is kind of an issue. And then there are times where you just don't even recognize what you're seeing. He kind of uses that delayed frame method where it kind of looks like one person moving across the screen, but you see 10 versions of them, and as they go along they catch up. And then he has that, but then he has it overlaid with other delayed frame stuff as well. So it's just a big mess on the screen. And so at some points I have no idea what I'm looking at. Just like what I said with the David Lynchian style in this one. You get the point, you just don't know what you're looking at. So I think that's going to be a problem for a lot of people, certainly mainstream audiences that will not really kind of get it. If you are, into David Lynch style, it is something to decipher, and that might be part of the fun, but for the rest of us, probably not so much. Other than that, I did think there were some problems with the storylines. And I know I said I like the Janice storyline, but that's just some mundane element of like a cosmic thriller slash horror thing. And I just thought that was, a funny element to it. But the other storylines don't really make a lot of sense. Of course, they have no explanation like anything David Lynch would do. I don't know what is in the basement. You see it like kind of for a second, but you don't even understand what it is. And then it changes maybe. I don't even know. And then with the other storyline, they are unconnected, but the guy like teleports to the basement. Like he's in his apartment and then there's a cut to the basement and he's walking in the basement. And that just doesn't make sense. And then what he sees in the basement, it's like, what even is that? And then he blinks and he teleports outside and he's watching a ghost play a violin. And then that ghost starts screaming or something. It's all very weird. It's all a very weird story where I think that with this one, probably not for the mainstream audience, you do actually have to try to really interpret the things that you are seeing, or at least try to make guesses about what you're seeing. And that is going to, cut off a lot of people for this type of stuff. You can't just watch it. You actually have to be interactive with it, or at least that element where you are trying to figure out what's going on. And like I said, with David Lynch's stuff, I get the point. I just don't understand it. And this goes on in this film as well. So I would say that this one is a very niche film itself. And so would I recommend this film? Well, if you're looking for a trippy experience and one that might have some cosmic elements, then this might be for you. I do think it is a little confusing, or maybe a lot of confusing about what's actually going on. So, good luck to you if you decide to press play. And as for a rating, well, ultimately, I thought it was okay, especially for someone like me who likes all this weird stuff. So I am going to give it the okay score of 4. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.